Are we live? Are we live? Did we do it? Did we do it? It
It
says we're
looks like
live.
it.
Hi. Hi, Emily.
Ah,
Hi, everyone. This is Morgan, and I'm here with Emily Grass, and we're doing some live coaching today. I've decided to do this live coaching series. I've been a little absent from this group because I've been transitioning in this move to LA and my master's program and dating in LA and all the stuff. But I'm excited to focus now on my current offering, which is these business healing intensives, where we dig in for an hour into one specific issue to really get you tuned in. Usually we're focusing on how to make money because that's kind of what I'm all about. That's my Capricorn nature. But a lot of other stuff comes into it. So it's about really taking advantage of this potent time to do some deep inner healing, get those limiting beliefs pushed out of the way so you can understand how do you unlock the magic to like live your dream life, run your dream businesses, create those, multiple income streams so that you never have to worry about money. So I'm offering those now. That's the only way you can work with me since my full-time, my long-term clientele is sold out for the year. So I'm taking just a few of these sessions. So if you're interested in it, you should click the link in the comments there or go to my website, and my latest blog post will give you details on these business healing intensives and how we can make your life work a little bit more joyfully, more easefully, and more financially successfully. That's a lot of adverbs. I'm going to introduce you now to Emily Grass. Emily is a friend of the Splendid Yoga community here. We are going to talk about how to raise your rates with joy. So, Emily, you're a coach for service-based entrepreneurs who want to find more hell yes clients to help online. And I love that because that's one of my mantras. When I welcome clients into my life, I only want to work with people who are like throwing their money at me, so excited to give me money that it doesn't matter what the number is, but it's a number that I'm comfortable with, that I know is worth my time, that they're also going to get value from. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me start with, when you think about money, do you feel a reaction in your body?
yes.
Yeah. What's that reaction?
Constriction in my chest.
Constriction in your chest. So I want you to place your hand on your chest, and I'm holding malachite here. This is a little crystal I picked up at the Santa Barbara Gem Fair not too long ago. So I'm just going to hold that there to kind of share space with you. So we're not trying to change this constriction, just feel this constriction. When you hear money and your heart goes, oh no, and you're just like, just allow it, just allow it. And we're not trying to change it, but we're asking very sweetly, heart, if you could stay open through this one, I think it'll make it easier. So we're just asking very politely, just, you don't have to, but if you feel like it, maybe you can just like 10% open up that constriction, just to let a little bit of this light in that we're going to work through today. You don't have to open all the way up, but just like a 10% gap from that constriction, from that closed off place, just to let that in. And so we'll ask you now, does it feel tighter or less tight? More expansive, more constricted, about the same?
A little bit less tight.
Okay, so breathe into that tightness, like you're trying to hug it. Not like you're trying to push it away, but like you're trying to bring it in closer. You can close your eyes and just really breathe into it. Like if you had a friend who just had her heart broken, you would give her the biggest hug and tell her, girl, I got you. Tell your heart, girl, I got you. Really feeling the support underneath you, your feet underneath you, seeing if you can be held. Allow yourself to be supported here by gravity. And check in again physically. Does it feel more constricted? Does it feel more expansive? Does it feel about the same? It's Spike.
More expansive.
More expansive. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
does it feel like, let's see, on a scale of like 50% constricted, 50% expansive, and some sort of ratio, does it feel like there's a lot more to
No,
open, a little more?
probably like 75% expansive,
Okay.
25% like fear, like, oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, good. Does that feel like a good place to receive information, or do we need to sit with this and let it open up a little bit more?
Yeah, it feels like a good place. I've been working on this for a long time. How I was raised, it's debatable if we were poor, but we lived like we were poor because my parents had financial, what would you call it, management issues. We lived in a mobile home park, but my dad made really good money. We don't need to get into that story very far, but we lived like we were poor, but they actually made decent money.
Okay. So you now have this perspective that as a child, you felt perhaps that there were things you couldn't have because your parents couldn't afford them. Is that accurate?
Mhm.
And you had to
Yeah.
be careful about what you asked for if it involved spending any sort of money. Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be a no.
It just a no, immediate no.
Yeah.
Always a no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
remember any time your parents said yes to you when it came to money?
Like my birthday.
Your birthday. So special occasions.
Mhm.
Yeah, we save up for special occasions. That's the only time you're worthy of money. We have to save our money. Money is regimented. We have rules about money. All right. So we're dealing with this kind of jail cell of what money means and is. And so tell me what's worked for you to develop a different relationship.
Um, looking at money as like a neutral tool,
Mhm.
and like investigating why I feel like stress when I think about money,
Yeah.
and
So
then just looking at money more often.
yeah, the why is interesting because the why is often a rationalization. And so often the rationalization stops the emotional processing because now you're in your head, you're not in your heart. So I'm curious, of course, we need to tell ourselves a story of how did we get to this point. So it's definitely worth exploring. But I'm curious if you could give yourself a little bit of space from that, where when your thoughts go to why, you make a note of, I'm going to talk about that with my therapist next time, or I'm going to talk about that with Morgan next time. I'm going to text her and be like, I'm rationalizing, like, help me through it. Because you're going to get trapped in this cycle. And I'll speak for myself. For me personally, I need someone to pull me out of the cycle and be like, can I hold that thought for you for a second and just like give you a little moment to get some perspective? So,
My brain loves to like make everything logical.
oh yeah, yeah. And that's very rational. That's a protective response, right? But especially for the work that you're doing, you have to embody it because if you're not processing it, you're repeating it, right? So that's where you're running into trouble. As you know, you have more value, you've learned so much more, you've invested in yourself more, you're ready to raise more rates, but there's something holding you back in terms of, let me see if this is accurate. Feel in your body if this feels true. Maybe check in with your heart. If I bring in more money, um, I don't know what to do with it. Like there's something of like there's just no money. There's just no to money.
It more feels like, and I like rationally it doesn't make sense, but it more feels like if I was a nice person, I wouldn't raise my rates.
Nice people don't cost money. Is
Or
that
they don't cost a lot of money.
oh well,
But
what's
I
a
don't
lot of
think
money?
that if someone tells me their rate and it's expensive, I'm just like, oh, good for them. But to me, I'm always like, for some reason, my head is like, oh, it's not nice to charge Paul more money.
Oh, okay. So what happens if, first of all, what happens if you're not a nice girl?
Um, I don't know.
We got a little good girl syndrome going here, right? That's some patriarchy that we're working with. So this is powerful. This is sticky because this is not just you, right? This is generations within your family, within culture of good girls don't ask for what they want, right? Good girls take what they
Mhm.
get with a smile,
And
with a
they're
face.
happy with it and they make do because they should, like, I think it's called human giver syndrome,
Wow.
where we meet other people's needs
But not your
and
own.
we should be satisfied by other people being happy.
Well, there's a sharing, right? There's an equal giving. I'll give you an example. I drove up or I drove down from Santa Barbara to LA this morning and I was feeling a little sorry for myself. And I was driving past the ocean and I looked out and I said, I'm going to give some Reiki to the ocean. Like the oceans, we've been fucking with the ocean for a while. I'm just going to send some Reiki out to the ocean. So I put my hand out I felt it go out. And then immediately I felt this high five of energy back from the ocean. And it was like, girl, I'm good. Like, here's some love for you. Thank you. Thanks for being here. It was just such an equal match of vibration. And I was just like, yeah, that's what I want to bring into my life. Anything that I meet, I want it to meet me with an equal vibration. So I'm wondering where is it effective for you to raise your vibration so that when you think about money, it's not from that place of good girl. It's not from that place of no. It's just from a place of, hey, girl, you're powerful. I'm powerful. Let's share in that together. What do you think it'll take to get there?
That's a really good question. Trust, I guess.
Trust. What does trust mean to you?
Like just trusting that I'll be able to like call the right people in, and like trusting that, like the universe always provides every no. And it's so silly because I always teach people this, but like every time you say no to something, it does make more room in your life for something better. And when you said what would it be to be not a good girl, it just sounded naughty. I was just like,
Well, let's make that the affirmative then. What would it take to be a bad girl? What would a bad girl do to ask for more money?
They would just do it and own it
What would they
and have
say?
an attitude of like, okay, well, that's what it is.
What would a bad girl say specifically to a client who says, how much do you cost?
They would say, they would just drop a price depending on whatever it is and just sit there, like
Yeah,
it's $150, a session.
How much do you cost? What are your rates?
$1,500 for 3 months.
What are your rates? What's your program? Tell me about it.
It's it's, I don't know, I've been getting away from the word transformative. It's a supportive program where I'm going to teach you all of the frameworks of social media marketing and growing your business. And I'm not going to be very prescriptive and tell you have to do it anything like other people tell you. You literally don't have to do anything ever that you don't want to. But I am going to be there to support you. I am going to be there to show you what worked for me, what I've seen work for other people. But ultimately, you're your own person. You make your own decisions. And it's $1,500 for 3 months.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. That feels very clear to me. When you say that number, $1,500, how does that constriction feeling in your heart feel?
What's so silly about it is I have charged people that much for 3 months. Yeah. But it always feels like like almost like you're like jumping off of something.
Yeah. So what's that feeling of jumping off of something? In your body, where do you feel it?
Stomach, heart, shoulders.
Stomach, heart, shoulders. What's in the shoulders?
Like tightness.
Tight, like right on top?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then in the heart, what's in the heart?
Constriction, like I sink in, and then the stomach, it's like a sinking feeling too, like protecting all of my internal organs, like don't hurt me.
What are you protecting yourself from?
Rejection?
No, you're protecting, yes, correct. But I'm agreeing with you. You're protecting yourself from that no that you heard your entire life, right? So when you hear no, what happens in your body?
Tell me now.
Okay, well, let's do the whole thing. What are your rates? What's your number?
I charge $1,500 for 3 months.
No, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's the heart.
Heart constricts, scared. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean when someone says no to you? How does your heart interpret that?
As like being rejected, not thinking that I'm worth it. Mm-hmm. And it's different than the logical thing. It's just like, okay, they're not the right person, but like in my body, it feels like rejection.
That's why you can't think your way through it, right? Oh, this no is leading to a yes. This no is getting me closer to my dream client. This no is freedom for all of us. But your heart is like, this no means that I'm not worthy. This no
Mm-hmm.
means that I'm not safe, that I can't have my needs fulfilled. This no means that I'm not going to be able to protect myself. So I need to put my armor up, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
creates a nadi, N-A-D-I, in the yoga world. Just for the audience, the nadis are constrict. Whenever you close your heart, you create an emotional knot in your body. And you'll see it in people over time, older people, especially like, war veterans. You'll see these lumps in their body, and it's literally emotion. It's energy that gets stuck. So when you close your heart, you create some sort of dysfunction, and it nests itself somewhere in your body. And so to release it, that's where practices like yoga help open up. It helps break apart those emotional knots so that they can be processed through your kidneys. You pee them out. It's great. You can breathe them out as well. You can meditate them out, but it's an advanced practice. But the first job is doing exactly what our beautiful Emily here is doing, which is just starting to notice that constriction of the heart when it happens, so that you can get to the root of it, right? And so the way to open it, and I'm going to offer this to you, Emily, is put your hands palm up and out, and then like you're trying to stretch touch your thumbs behind you, but tuck your ribs in, and then kind of like lift your heart up to your chin, pump 2, 3, and then lift your chin up, but keep the back of your neck really long. So no crunching in the brainstem. Like if you had an eyeball in the back of your neck, it'd be wide open. And then look up in between your eyebrows, then take a big inhale in and puff up your chest. And then as you exhale out, close your eyes and allow yourself to be bathed with worthiness, and tell yourself out loud or in my head or in your head, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy of receiving money. 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 You picture the color green pouring into your heart chakra, telling your heart, you can stay open because you are being provided for. I can stay open because I am provided for. I can trust because I've proven to myself over and over again, I am provided for, and I am ready to make it easier. I'm ready to attract the clients that are so excited to give me money. It doesn't matter what the dollar amount is. Right now, 1,500 feels like a good amount of money for my life. There are women out there who are going to think that's a bargain. And those are the people we want to welcome into this experience that Emily's offering. And so we shine up that green light like a lighthouse up into the astral plane to anyone who's ready to or has been asking for guidance that Emily can provide. We invite them in now, letting them know, here's the baseline, $1,500. Here's the time commitment, equally important, 3 months. If you're ready for that commitment, we're inviting you in with ease. We're inviting you in with joy. And we're inviting you in with a hell yes. And then give yourself a big hug. Give yourself a big hug. And then inhale, open your arms up wide. And then again, but other arm underneath. Give yourself a big hug. And then nestle your head in. And then be like, heart, we're doing such a good job. I'm so fucking proud of you. And then when you're ready, you can shake it off and move around and check in with heart. See how heart's doing. How's that feeling?
It definitely feels more open.
Yeah, I feel it. And I love that you have the green in your necklace there, and I have the green here. But I also have the
Yeah.
rose quartz. What is that?
One of my clients actually gave it to me. It's I forget, it's sea glass, but I forget what the meaning of it was. But it was really cute. She wrote me like a whole note about like why she picked the gold and the sea glass.
That's sweet.
And it was supposed to help me help other people and expand and be the light. I remember the gold was to bring me light.
To sparkle, to
Mm-hmm.
reflect your light. You don't need to bring in light. You just need to learn how to turn it on and turn it outwards. And that's that no from your childhood that's blocking you. So tell me a little bit about the last conversation you had with someone where you pitched this program, or have you pitched it yet?
I have.
Okay. So tell me what happened.
I haven't been pitching it very much. Not the last person that signed up, but I think the last time I actually pitched it, I think the person signed up actually. I'm
Okay.
thinking like when I fully pitched it, they signed up.
Yeah. So,
And she's been, so we're halfway through. So I haven't pitched it in a while.
okay.
Because I just feel like afraid to, even though the last person said yes. So like back to like it not being logical, but I still just feel like blocked about it. She loves it. She sends me like a message at least once a week and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I've been on sales calls with like 10 people. I said no to all of them. I don't know why I said yes to you, but I just felt like I could trust you and that you weren't going to like um manipulate me or like hold back information from me.
So where's the fear?
Um the fear is that the fear is one, that I'll be rejected, and two, that I won't be able to help them as much as I want to, and they'll be like, "Oh, I can't believe I spent my money on that," um, which has never happened. I've never had anyone ask me for a refund. I would probably just give it to them if they did for like whatever they hadn't used. But like irrational fear that they'll be like, "I don't want to do this. Never mind."
Yeah. Yeah. So what's it going to take for you to pitch this again?
I think just doing it.
Yeah. Well, you got to find someone to pitch it to. Do you have someone in mind that you want to work with?
I have 3 people in mind.
Would you feel comfortable reaching out to them and saying, I'm building this new thing. This is the experience my current client has had. I'd love to talk with you about it.
Um, yeah, so I didn't pitch them, but I've had 2 people that I had calls like with about it, just talking about it, but I didn't pitch them. And both asked me to like keep them in the loop when I was ready to enroll. It sounds so silly.
So what's it going to take for you to respond to that direct request to hire you?
Just being like, hey, I got everything together.
How
Yeah,
about something along the lines of, I just had an opening?
yeah, that's probably better.
Because that's true. You had an opening in your heart, right?
Hmm. Well, and I ended a couple like programs with like
Yeah,
individual one-to-one. The contract was up, we're done. Um, so I actually do have more opening in my schedule now.
perfect. So what if you reached out and said, following up on that program you were so excited about, I'm so excited to work with you. I finally have an opening for you. Let's get on the phone and finalize this. What's your schedule? Are you available? And then give a couple dates and times. How does that
Yeah,
feel?
it feels it feels good.
Because you can do it two ways. You can also just send a link
Yeah,
and say, I'm ready for you. Here's where you sign up.
yeah.
So just kind of, maybe check in energetically. Is it worth another conversation? Does that feel good? Or is it worth just, oh no, they've already said yes. Or do you feel like they're like, did you discuss, you didn't discuss price in the last conversation or did you?
No,
Yeah, then it should probably be a conversation
yeah.
to get some prices out there. So how do you feel about having that conversation?
I feel good about it.
Yeah, you've done it before. You've gotten yeses before, and you have a program that it works. So you've got a little bit of that imposter syndrome, a little bit of that. It's not allowed to be this easy. If I get money, I have to work hard from it, but I'm not going to get it because money is a no. But you're examining it, and this is such a potent time for healing this really deep-seated stuff because it'll rise to the surface in the same way that like a bloom has to shoot through the dirt, where it's like 1, 2, 3, okay, go. Okay, we did it. We did it. We did it. Or you use the phrase of like, it's like jumping off a cliff. It's like that moment of like, you come to the edge and you peer down. And if you think about it, you're not going to go because your body's like, I could die. I could die. But if you're just like, no, it's going to be fun. 1, 2, 3, go. And then you go running off the cliff and you're screaming and it's super fun and you land in the ocean. It's like, not only is it worth overcoming that fear, but the fear becomes an enjoyable part of it. The fear becomes like, oh, I know this feeling. This means I'm growing. And like,
Mm-hmm.
this is fun because I know this leads to some quantum leaps of incredible work, not just for me, but so far beyond me. This feeling means that something is working through me to help everyone. And it's from that place that you make your offering. So this has nothing to do with Emily. This has everything to do with what you're being asked to support as we fight the patriarchy and destroy it.
Yeah. When I did my full moon spread,
Mhm,
like card pulls,
mhm.
all of them were like, you need to trust yourself more.
Need to
Was
trust.
the like overarching theme of the cards I pulled.
Yeah. So trust is interesting because the Buddhists would say that trust has to do with staying present. Trust has to do with I don't need to plan for the future. It's already done. Trust has to do with everything from the past was on purpose and for my deepest healing. And trust has to do with I know what it feels like to be in my body and I can trust what that feels like. And even if I don't always act upon it in a way that, in hindsight, maybe I would have made a different decision, I know that I can trust that I'm doing my fucking best and that I'm a human being who is here to do deep generational ancestral healing to contribute to the global good, and that it's really hard, and that I know I'm doing a great job. Like Morgan, see you, Emily. Like I see you doing a great job. I see you progress, or see your progress over the months that we've been in touch. So give yourself some credit and let that feed that sense of I'm doing it. I can do this. I'm doing it. Let the external validation hold you here. Let this feedback you're getting from your current client be like, oh, yeah, it's working. Like, I knew that it would, and I felt that it would. And I also felt that maybe I'm a giant imposter and I suck and no one likes me. Does that sound a little familiar?
Yes,
The
it
back and
does.
forth. So,
Yeah.
so learning to have a relationship to the Buddhists call it Mara. Have we talked about Mara before?
Mm-mm.
Would you like to hear one of the stories of Mara? Mara is a demon, but a friendly demon. And the Buddha was sitting attaining the enlightenment, and Mara didn't want the Buddha to attain enlightenment. To keep it friendly, we'll say he just wanted to keep his playmate, right? He just wanted to keep playing and messing around, kind of a trickster, kind of a prankster.
Mm-hmm.
So he would do everything he could. Like he would have a marching band go by. He would have like delicious food out, anything he could to attract his senses to get him out of his deep healing, his deep enlightenment. And the Buddha, instead of just ignoring him and being like, okay, I'm just gonna tune it out. I'm gonna tune it out. Opened his eyes and said, Mara, would you like to come in for tea? Would you like to have a conversation? I see you need some attention. Let's talk about it. And that was part of the enlightenment is you can't just brace yourself, right? That's kind of the toxic positivity model. You can't just be like, I'm just going to wait for it to end, right? Because that's another naughty, that's another cycle of suffering, that's another emotional knot. But when those cycles of suffering come in, when that imposter syndrome, that no from the past comes in, you invite it in closer. You don't try to push it away. You don't try to rationalize it or think your way through it. You say, little Emily, little girl who wants, like, what's the first thing that comes to mind of something you really wanted that you knew you couldn't afford? Your family wouldn't pay for it.
Um, I can't even think of one specific thing. I used to just go to the neighbors if I wanted something and like I'd offer to wash their windows or I'd offer to like clean up their yard.
Yeah.
So I would just like I learned like at like 7, I would just go make money if I wanted something. So I can't even think of something specific that I wanted because I just like I didn't even ask most of the time because I had older siblings and I knew it was a no. So I think I didn't even want anything. I was just like, well, I'll just go make some money.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know that you can provide for yourself, but let's send some love to little Emily, who really deserved to be provided for, right? Like if you had a 7-year-old in your life and she was like, "Can I have an ice cream?" You'd be like, "Yeah, dude, let's go get some ice cream," right?
Yes, absolutely.
So there's still little Emily. Like she knows she can, but she also wants to be taken care of. And so we get to send that energy back of adult Emily to be like, I'm taking care of it, girl. Like we're taking care of it. And this is part of that healing process is asking for your value of everything you've had to do to survive. You learned very quickly in this world, oh, if I do this, I'll get money. So now you have this kind of transactional relationship to money. If I wash windows, then I get this money, as opposed to if I ask for what I need, it will be provided for me. I have
Yeah.
to work for it. I have to trade my time for money. And
I
that's
have to seek it out. Yeah.
yeah. And it has to be hard. It has to be hard work. Yeah. So that's where we bring that feeling in of, oh man, that was hard work. And I'm so proud of you for doing that. That is so 7 years old. You were like industrious, like, can I wash your windows? Right. Can I shine your shoes? So like,
Yeah.
let's have some super
It's
love for
hard to say
that.
no to a little kid though. So people always were like, yes,
Well, it's
yes,
hard to
you
say no to
strange small child.
it's hard to say no to a charismatic, beautiful woman who's offering something that someone wants. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and not but ands, the no is freedom. The yes is confirmation and the no is freedom. So when you're evaluating and going into this and rationalizing and thinking, go down the path and invite the no in as if that's how it can be, I know that there's a better client and there's a better person for this person. So when I go into a discovery session, I'm not thinking of what I'm going to sell this person, unless we've already had a conversation about it and we're ready for that. I'm going into it thinking, how can I support this person? Most likely, I'm going to refer them to someone else for a variety of reasons, just not the right time, money, whatever. Um, I'm open to hearing if I want to work with them, right? Not even if they want to work with me, but just deciding if I want to work with them. And then we'll have a conversation of if we're both on the same page, just like dating, like let's get to know
Mm-hmm.
each other and then we'll figure out like, well, what do you want? What do you want? And you have some clarity about what that wants to look like for you, but there's also some malleability there in terms of to work with those soul aligned clients, every package is going to be a little bit different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have this idea in mind of 3 months, $1,500, and that's your framework. But I would invite you to allow that to be malleable because I think that'll give you a gentler relationship to that conversation and that number. And when I say malleable, I don't mean lower. If anything, I mean higher. But mostly what I mean is if you say 1,500 and someone says, there's no way, like I work with people who I know, and I wouldn't advise them to spend that amount of money on me. And I'll tell them, this is how much I cost. And like, I won't take your money. Here's another way we can work together to get you to that point where you can afford this program, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So allowing yourself permission for that no to be a source of growth for everyone involved instead of a no means I'm not worthy and I have to go work harder.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And you saying this, like, it is nice, like, for especially like empaths or people pleasers who, like, I am too, to allow someone to say no to me because they're like setting boundaries and standing up for themselves and giving them the opportunity to say no. It actually does sound nice now.
yeah,
Or I'm rationalizing it so I still can feel like a nice person. But it does sound nice.
you are a nice person, but not because of what you do. It's because of who you are. Even if you were to like get on the horn with someone and, break them down into tears immediately, which in your line of work, I'm sure happens all the time, like bringing up someone's emotional shit still makes you a nice person. But being a nice person means being strong enough to honor yourself first. Because if you're not honoring yourself, you're dishonoring the external, because that's good. That little seed of resentment, that little seed of that closing your heart, that little voice that wanted to come out, it gets stuck and it's going to come out at some other point, but it's going to build up, right? So that was a little bit of a clearing. Where's your heart now? Let's check in with that in our
It
last few
feels
minutes.
good. The only where place I feel tight is a little bit in my shoulders.
Shoulders. Okay. So let's embrace that. Let's go ahead and place your hands here and tap at the tippy top of your shoulders, GP20, gallbladder channel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right there.
Yeah. And then press your elbows back and lift your heart up, but relax your shoulders down. Yeah. Great. And we're going to open up, reach up, and shrug your shoulders up and down and up and down and up and down. And then open your arms up wide. And then press back, 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 back. And then bring your palms together, but not quite touching, not quite touching, but you can still feel the connection. Do you feel that? A little bit, kind of let it grow, let it grow, let it grow. And then place it in your lowest low belly. And take that burden from your shoulders and send it to Source. Source has this all figured out. Source has all your next clients lined up one after the other. You feel that? You don't have to do anything. You could, unless you're going to hide in a closet because you're too scared to put yourself out there, there's nothing you could do to prevent yourself from bringing in your next round of clients. There's nothing you can do to mess that up. Do you believe me?
Nah, not really.
Yeah. So the concept is you can't lose anything that's meant for you, right? There's nothing you can do to push away what is truly meant for you. You can delay it because you still need to do some healing. But ultimately, if someone comes into your life seeking resources from you, you're going to find a way to make that happen. And you're at a point in your life where you know how to manifest exactly what's going to serve your highest good. You know how to heed that call because you know when you do, you're going to heal something intrinsically that's not just going to heal something within you, it's going to heal it through your ancestral line. It's going to heal it through your entire family. It's going to heal it through your Sangha, your healing community. And you're going to see that reflected in every aspect of your life. So this isn't just about you, people pleaser, if you really want to get codependent with it. This is about serving your entire community, right? Because if you don't figure out how to get so comfortable with receiving vast amounts of money, you're not going to be able to make those big dreams come true that you know your community is asking for. I don't know if that helps get it outside of you so that it's not just about you. Sometimes for the codependents, it helps. It's a little bit of a reverse trick.
Yeah. I was actually teaching something similar because a lot of my people yesterday have a really hard time letting people do something for them. So I reframed it for someone that they're giving them a gift because the giver receives more good emotions, more benefits than the receiver. Like, so you're giving someone the gift of letting them help you and letting them be the giver for once.
Yeah.
You reminded me that I taught this yesterday, kind of like, all right, well, if you like have to be the one giving something, be the one that's giving the gift of receiving for once.
Absolutely. Because I mean, think about like when you hire a coach that you're so aligned with and you're so excited to work with, like, doesn't that feel so good? There's a little bit of fear of like, oh, this is a lot of money, but like, you know, you're getting the support that you need, right? You can feel that. So let's transmute that feeling into when people hire you. They're going to feel the same way. A little bit, this is growth, so it's uncomfortable, but I trust. I trust Emily because she trusts herself. I trust Emily because I've seen her do this with other people. I trust Emily because I know she's the one to help me. That's why I'm so excited to pay her $1,500 and work with her for 3 months. Allow yourself to feel, to receive what you give. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my dear. We'll close up here. Do you have any other questions for us?
No, I love it. Awesome.
All right.
It was like things that like I teach people and I believe, but that are really hard for me to receive myself.
Are you an INFJ? Do you know?
I am an INFP.
INFP. Okay. Yeah. So part of that makes it really the perceiving helps, but it makes it difficult to see yourself because you're so often, and especially, you know, with a little bit of a traumatic background, you're so often attuned to everything going on around you that you just learned how to turn off those messages from yourself as a means of survival, right? So
Yeah.
you're learning, as we all are, this is not just you, this is literally every single one of my clients and beyond. You're learning how to tune back into that intuitive place of deep, deep trust of I am so provided for, I am so safe, all is well, all is well, that place of enlightenment and Zen. And that's a choice that we can make. And we fall out of it when we start to overthink. The thoughts never help. I don't know why they're there. They're there as part of the training. They're there as part of the challenge of, so let's see how she interprets all of these fifth dimensional messages. Plus, let's give her an overthinking complex where she hears all of the thoughts of everyone around here and interprets them in like 8 different emotional languages. So learning how to turn down that frequency with love while tuning into the heart, not to force it to do anything, but just to notice how you feel in here and what decisions can I make to help you stay open, right?
Yeah.
And so part of it is a little bit of that cognitive behavioral training of how can we take an emotion from your past experience and bring it into this experience, right? The experience of hiring a coach that you trust and seeing real value from it, to the experience of being hired as a coach who's going to be trusted. People are going to see real value from it. So in terms of like a solid takeaway of one thing you can do, like right after we sign off here to help propel these goals forward, what would you feel like would be a good goal?
Um, this is from an old coach I used to have. Just make the damn offer.
Make the offer. Do you want to do an invitation to a conversation or just the direct, here's how you hire me?
Invitation to a conversation.
All right. And how are you going to reach out to them? Are they on Messenger?
Yeah.
All right. And do you need any help with the words? You want to send it to me first, or do you feel comfortable with like, you know, you
I
got
feel comfortable. Both the people I've talked to, very in depth.
yeah.
One of them has been my client before, and signs up for like every masterclass and training that I do, or like 90%. It's like shocking to me when she doesn't.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty comfortable starting conversations with her.
Yeah, let's start with a 99% yes. That sounds like a great place to start. And you're starting from that place of even if it's a no, it's a yes. All of this is yes. This is a win-win-win for everyone involved, no matter what happens. We have an idea of how we want it to go, right? We have a little bit of expectation, but the attachment to the expectation is where the suffering comes in, because you know it's going to happen better than you could possibly plan. You know, that's been proven to you over and over again. Does that feel true?
Yes.
Yeah. So a little bit of planning to get you up and running, and then openness to the vastness of the magic of the universe. Yay!
I love it. It just makes me so happy every time you talk about the universe.
I mean, she loves being talked about. She's got some ego. No. No, it's so fascinating, especially in my Taoist studies. There are specific meditations where you have a deep relationship with the universe and the North Star. And it's really been incredible for my psychic development in terms of helping me understand globally what's going on, even as I'm, working through my own personal bullshit, right? It helps pull me out a little bit so that it's like, here's the isolated time when I'm going to deal with this. Here's when I'm going to just be in my realm and allow myself to channel through, because that's where the real healing happens. So I appreciate you, Emily, for volunteering for the first of this live coaching series. I'm going to try to do this every Friday. And maybe next week we'll have like a follow-up from Emily that I can give you guys. But I'm going to do someone new every week, some sort of specific issue that you're working through that's related to money, whether it's related to your online business, money mindset, trying to figure out a career transition, something to help you welcome in the abundance that is your birthright, knowing that when you heal yourself, you will heal the world. That's what we're here to do. We're here to save the world that needs it. So Emily, we have that little goal to you. You're going to reach out to at least one of those women who's already like, where do I sign up? What do you need from me? And say, I'm ready for you. I finally have an opening, and let's set up a time next week. Does this time or this time work for you? And then I'm gonna announce next week that you signed your client, and I'm so excited to do that. It's gonna be just one of those things where I'm like, I knew it, but I'm still happy that it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
It's super my pleasure, Emily. You can join Emily in her group. Let's see, Abundant Collective. Did I remember?
Abundant Empath.
The Abundant Empath. Yes, totally aligned with everything I'm doing. And this is also a great reminder, like Emily and I have a lot of crossover in the work that we do. And this is not competition, like this is collaboration. Not everyone is going to be for Emily. Not everyone is going to be for me in terms of the type of work that we do. But when you invite in the deep healing and the collaboration, that's when you really get to embrace the true abundance of the world. Because it's so fun sharing this space with like-minded friends. And then one last quick reminder, I'm doing this series in celebration of my current offering, which are the business healing intensives. We spend 60 minutes digging into a detail like we did today to figure out where your block is in terms of welcoming in the income streams that you need to make those big dreams come true that are really going to help save the world. That's what I love helping people do. I'm pretty good at it. And I'd love to help you. So you can click on the link in the comments or check out my website, splendid.yoga, to get more information about that. And leave comments if you're watching this on the replay, do a little hashtag replay. I don't even know if this made it live, but it definitely recorded. So I'll get it on the YouTube channel so we can share this information with more people. And I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. But Emily, let's hang on afterwards after I go off live. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And yeah, we'll see you soon. All right. We are
Awesome.